At midnight, on the empty dark street, Vine was carrying her bag, wearing a cap and a mask with fast steps walking somewhere she don't know where, but she was determined to escape. Her breaths were heavy and she felt like someone is following her, but actually there was no one behind her, but she was getting scared. I won't go back to my house. I won't. I don't want to get married with that old potato sack. I can't sacrifice my beauty, she was mumbling while walking and time to time looking back to make sure there was no one coming, and her heart dropped. Eyes got widened when she spotted something. Something she feared the most. What? No way. Shoo away. She wanted to scream and run with full speed, but at that time her feet became jelly. They were not supporting her, and her heart dropped when that street dog barked, making her flinch badly. And then she was running like she was in a marathon, and the dog was behind her. After a long running, she finally spotted a place to hide. It was a dark alley where she quickly hid and could hear the barking sound, but her heartbeat was louder than that. She was breathing heavily, gasping for air. Didn't notice she put herself in a big trouble until a hand covered her mouth from behind and pulled her inside the alley. Her eyes were wide open in shock, and due to running, she wasn't feeling any energy in her body. But she tried and struggled. Even she didn't able to stable her breath. That time when someone covered her mouth. Pretty, you yourself come in my service now, don't struggle. I won't leave you that easily. The man said, after pressing her on the wall, and Vian's sense blocked when the smell of strong alcohol hit her nostrils. That mask she was wearing earlier was no longer on her face. That could block that smell, making her vomit in disgust. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I found a gem. Nah, I got a jackpot, huh? You are Kim's daughter. I saw you on the TV in the morning, and there you are, in my arms. His smirk got wider and sinister than before after he recognized the face he has been watching on the news everywhere. She was the most powerful and famous businessman's and mafia's daughter who returned yesterday, and the news was everywhere. She knows she can't hide now, and the way he was eyeing her up and down, dyeing her blood and threat, she was not brave at all to fight and save herself from the drunken beast. She was too small and fragile in front of that giant man. Let me go. Her voice was just a whisper but audible that made him laugh like a maniac. Let you go? Did you ever hear people let go great opportunities? First, I thought to do something else with you, but now that my hands got a golden bird, I am planning to ask a healthy amount from your rich father. Vine felt like vomiting because his face was so near. As she struggled to free herself, the man grabbed her hairs in a painful way that made her hiss with tears. I know how to catch a bird like you. We cut their feathers so that they can't fly anymore, and if you don't want that, be careful. He started to drag her with him forcefully when he suddenly let out a painful groan, and the next second he was on the ground lifelessly. As someone shoot him from behind, Vine's eyes were wide open with terror and shock. On the other hand, she was feeling relieved too because she was out of danger, maybe. She turned immediately towards lights. The very next moment, she heard a man's voice informing someone on the phone that they found Kim's daughter and Connor took her with them. They were also not her lifesaver but her father's enemies. She regretted. She regrets so much on her stupid action and decision of running away from her house at midnight. She was better married to that old man and live not happily but freely and safely rather than putting her dear life in a danger. Come out by yourself, I don't want to hurt you or force you. He simply said, but Van flinched because she was so afraid and scared at that moment. When he spoke, Van nodded after gulping, and with slow steps, she started to walk towards the man. When the area echoed up with gunshots, the man quickly hid behind the car to protect himself, while Van got down on her knees, closing her ears and eyes tightly. What on the earth is happening just when she tried to escape? It's that war everywhere, but anyway, she guessed this time her father come to save her because the opposite party was attacking the other party who was behind her from the start. When she stepped out of her house but couldn't figure it out, and she decided she will gonna jump on her father and hugged him like a koala until they reached their home, her safest place. She was ready to get scolded. She will happily hear him just once she reached her home. Come on, get up, you are safe now. A voice came with a hold on her arm. The man, wearing mask, pulled her closer to him and walked towards the car with her. She felt some kind of protection, even she don't know him nor the other man, surrounding them in a protective manner. Yeah, stop, leave me. Who the hell are you now? Suddenly she found her voice and courage that has been disappeared and she questioned the man holding her and tried to free her arm. She was now feeling really pissed. Her mind was badly when she realized they were not their father's men also, but she again encountered with another trouble. Sit in the car, you will know everything. He spoke, his voice cold as he signaled his man and he quickly opened the door while Vine, with shocked eyes, shook her head. No, I won't. Yeah, don't touch me, you freak. She yelled, and for her surprise, she heard laughs. That immediately stopped as Jungkook glared them while the man smiled awkwardly and gestured Vine to sit. But now that Vine lost her patience, she decided to protest. The one who couldn't fight with the drunk jerk was ready to fight with dozens of men. Ma'am, please get in. We are taking you Kim's mansion as per your brother's order. If you don't believe you can talk to him, he said before she do something stupid again. As he extended the phone, she quickly took and when she confirmed he was her brother, she sat on the car quietly because he told her that their father didn't know about this all. She better return home before he get to know everything. Where were you going at this time? He simply asked after a long silence, made Ryan to look at him, while Neil on the driving seat glanced them through the rearview mirror. Why, I tell you, who are you? She said and noticed how his brow raised and then he took off his mask, made her heart flip. The one you never want to meet, I guess. He replied, made Ryan confused as hell. What do you mean? Anyways, I don't want to know. Just take me to my home as soon as possible, she said, getting impatient to reach her house, and then she will never gonna step outside like this, while Jungkook was getting confused. Just 20 minutes more. Jungkook nodded and then he didn't speak, knowing she faced a lot. She needs some time to relax her mind while Ryan feeling heavy on her heart. She realized she was behaving way too much rude, who basically saved her, and that too, the handsome man beside her making her weak on her knees. She stopped, fidgeting with her fingers, and signed. I was running from my house. My brother already told you that, I guess. She spoke and looked at Jungkook, who didn't reply but looking at her with his curious eyes. He knew she was running, but he don't know the reason behind. She quickly looked away, feeling her heart suddenly start jumping in her chest. She sighed. My father fixed my marriage with the mafia right after I returned from USA. I don't have any problem because I also belong to that family, but the thing is, they didn't even told me and asked me. She noticed how Jungkook's brows frowned. They didn't told you? Means you didn't saw him? He was shocked while Van nodded. My brother told me he is an old man. Obviously, if he is a mafia king, then he's supposed to be a old potato sack. I just planned to run away, but put myself in this mess. First, I was getting kidnapped by that drunken jug. What? What do you mean? He cut her off as he was shocked to know this. He suddenly started feeling anger as he quickly glanced at her neck and hands to make sure she didn't get hurt anywhere. He didn't do anything after he recognized my face because I was a jackpot for him, she said as she noticed how concerned he looked while Jungkook sighed internally. Your brother told me you left your phone, I guess intentionally so that no one found you, but from your father's enemies I got to know where you are. She nodded while Neil was smiling hearing their conversation. So now are you going to marry that old man who looked like potato sack? He asked. His brow was raised while Neil was holding his laugh. I have to, because I don't want to die this early. She pouted while Jungkook bit his lip to control his smile. By the way, who are you? She asked curiously to know his name and whereabouts when the car stopped and she glanced outside, found they already reached to her house. Oh, we reached. Thanks for saving me. She smiled even she don't want to leave but she have to so she opened the door and about to get down when Jungkook held her hand, making her to look at him confusedly. Don't you wanna know about me, Ryan? His eyes showing a hint of mischief that made her lost in his eyes, but she startled hearing a voice. It was her brother Zen. She jumped on him and hugged him tightly after coming out of the car. I will talk with you later, but don't tell anything to father, understand? Go inside. Vi nodded happily and walked inside the house after glancing at Jungkook last time. Her bag, he said after throwing the bag on Zen that he catch, and laughed, knowing why he is behaving like this. Why don't you give her this by yourself, huh? I bet you didn't introduce yourself to her. He threw the bag at Jungkook that he caught immediately and glared at Zen while he winked at him. Oh God, thank you for saving me. But who will save me from that old man now? Aish, that guy was so handsome. God, please turn that old man into a handsome prince like that guy who saved me. She prayed, sitting on a bed, and gasped when she heard knock on her room's window. What is that? Omo, what's happening? She walked near the window while clenching her shirt, and her eyes got widened seeing Jungkook. She hurriedly slid open the window. What are you doing? She asked surprisingly while he chuckled and handed her bag. Just come here to tell you that now take care of yourself because I don't want my soon to be bride get herself in any trouble. Understand? I hope you get it, princess. He winked and after giving her a quick kiss on her cheek, he jumped down from her window, leaving her dumbfounded. Vine blinked her eyes, her cheeks turning red as she touched her cheek where she could feel his lips. Even it was just a small feather like peck, but she felt butterflies and electricity run through her veins. She didn't understand anything, his words roaming around in her brain until she heard laugh from his brother, who was standing with Jungkook, and she quickly peeked outside through her window. And the reality hit her so hard that shook her from head to toe, and she covered her mouth with wide eyes. He lied to me. Zen made fun of me. He was Jungkook with whom I'm getting married to. Oh my god, so embarrassing. She whispered, yelled, holding her face with both her hands and with wobbly legs. She managed to walk towards her bed before falling onto it and start screaming after digging her face in the pillow. She only knows his name as Zen mentioned it, but she didn't saw him until now. She was embarrassed for what she did and in which condition she had her first meeting with her soon to be husband. She felt getting tricked badly from her own brother, who even sent Jungkook to rescue her, and stupid her, she called him old and potato sack. From where he looks like potato sack and old, he was and handsome, that it was not enough to praise him. She nearly made up her mind to run away with him if he gets ready. Aish, with which face? I'm going to face him now. Zan, I'm gonna kill you, you idiot. She threw her hands and legs in the air while whining like a kid, and then suddenly stopped when she remembered how he kissed her, and the anger turned into shyness when she recalled the moment how he pulled her towards him in the alley, and he found herself lost in his dark orbs. Everything that scared her before, she think it will left her in trauma, was now become romantic scene to her. It wasn't a lie if we said it was of love at first sight. Good morning, Dad, she greeted as soon as she walked towards the dining table where Mr. Kim and Zan was eating their breakfast while discussing something about business. Good morning, my love. Did you sleep well? He greeted her back and kissed her temple after she sat beside him. Yeah, Vayan, tell us, did you sleep well last night? He asked while smirking, made Vayan to glare him. I did pretty well, she replied and smiled looking at her father who nodded. By the way, did you meet Jungkook or talk to him? I'm asking because you both have not met yet and Jaspreet is left in wedding. Vayan cheeks slightly turned red, remembering their first awkward meeting while Zen chuckled, made Vayan and Mr. Kim to look at him confusedly. I guess they don't need to meet. They both like each other. And he even, ouch, before he completed his sentence, one pinched his thigh under the table and glared him. You better shut your mouth, either you will be dead meat. She whispered while gritting her teeth, not knowing their father was watching both of them. What happened? And what were you saying? Is there something I need to know? He asked, mid by gulp. She shook her head while Zen coughed lightly. Actually, I showed her Jungkook's picture last night and she liked him. That's why I said they don't need to meet. He faked a smile and luckily Mr. Kim didn't doubt on them and nodded. That's great. I knew it. My daughter will like him because I choose him for her. Why? As much as he's handsome and good looking, he's very intelligent and smart as well. Wan smiled and looked down in her plate. She started feeling butterflies all of a sudden and wants to know about him more and more. She will hear about him all the day without yawning. That's how much she got attracted towards him and started liking him. The 3 days before their wedding, Jungkook managed to send her flowers and gifts, tried his best to make her feel loved by him and reminds her that she is going to be his soon. Wine didn't do anything rather than feeling butterflies and think about him all the day. And finally the day came. They both were waiting so impatiently and their wedding took place. It was so luxurious and grand that people will gonna remember for years. Are you tired, Wine? You must be. What I am even talking. He chuckled on his silly question while Wine smiled, made his heart flutter. I'm not tired, Jungkook. Just hearing you feels good. She replied as she was just hearing him talking and forgot how to talk. She was nervous, feeling different emotions. She could not able to describe, but she was comfortable with him. That's why he was so casually laying on her lap and she was grazing his hairs with her fingers. He don't have to confess his feelings as he already did in 3 days before marriage, and so did she. Now, they both were spending their first wedding night with each other, as it was the first time they were alone, and to be honest, they both were liking it simply. Jungkook? He hummed while his eyes were closed and his face was dug in Mayan's stomach that gives her vibration. She giggled due to tickling, and Jungkook quickly looked at her with amusement. Are you laughing at me, sweetheart? He asked, his voice husky and one brow was raised while Van shook her head. No, it's tickle when you hum. She replied, the smile never leaving her lips, making her more beautiful. Really? Let me see. He didn't even touch to tickle her, but Van started laughing and held his hand to stop him. No, Jungkook, don't, please. She showed him puppy eyes, but the mischievous glint in his eyes and his mouth grew wider. He suddenly hovered above her, made her eyes widen. She could hear her heartbeat. I wonder what will happen if I start something. Are you gonna laugh at all the time? Aish, I wanna hear something else. He whispered, made Ryan's heart skip a bit and cheeks red. Jungkook, she whined, not able to take his teasing as Jungkook laughed and lay beside her. Okay, okay, relax. But get used to it because I'm like this, darling. He said while Van chuckled and nodded. By the way, what were you saying? He asked while Van remembered. She wants to ask something as she sat on the bed looking at him curiously. Let's play something. Jungkook frowned, then he smirked. That's what I was thinking too. Let's play the game couples play on their wedding night. He said while smirking and saw how Van's smile faded. She gulped, feeling butterflies. You are so perfect, Jungkook. She hit him up low, made him laugh. Okay, okay, tell me what do you want? Actually, you have to guess what I'm gonna write on your back, okay? It will be fun. She smiled looking at him while he scratched his neck thinking something else. Good. Interesting. But you have to write on my bare back. I'm taking off my shirt because I'm also sleeve shirtless. Wine with red cheeks nodded while Jungkook took off his shirt and lay down on his stomach. Wine to gulp, not knowing Jungkook was making, while poor Wine blew on her sweaty palms before she extended her shaky hand to his back and write her name that he quickly guessed correctly. And then the game continued while both were laughing when he made a mistake and couldn't guess what she wrote. Now please guess this one, Jungkook, she said and wrote I love you on his back. That he guessed, but took some time because he was dealing with himself. Her touches were gentle that made him start feeling. Come on, Jungkook, tell me, she asked impatiently as he was taking time, so she drew a heart on his waist. I'm gonna tell this to our future kids that how we both make them. His voice was husky, while Van was forgot to blink. She didn't think it will end up like this, but now, when the situation turned like this, and she was the reason, she didn't deny, but wrapped her arms around his neck. You love me, you wrote on my back with a heart too. He told her what she wrote on his back that made her smile shyly as he kissed on her neck before they both shared a passionate deep kiss.